Guardians, what is going on, guys? Your dude Sly here, back at you with another Destiny 2 guide for you. And this time we're going to be talking about the next season coming to Destiny 2, Season 7, the Season of Opulence, more specifically the upcoming raid, Crown of Sorrow. In this video, I'm going to be going over all the ways in which you can boost your light level in the few hours that you all have before the raid goes live. Now, if you're a Destiny player, then odds are you know that this will be the first time Bungie is dropping a raid on the very same day as its next DLC, or I guess I should say the same day as a new content drop, since these seasons technically aren't full DLCs. In prior raids, it was all about who could boost their light as much as possible before going into a new raid, and while Crown of Sorrow will be much more of the same, it lends itself to being a little more fair since you can only do so much within 6 hours. So instead of popular streamers who do nothing but play Destiny 24/7, being able to level up 10 or more light levels than everyone else, it should be more of a fair fight this time around. Also keep in mind that while a few levels might not seem like much, once you hit about 5 light levels above another, and especially 5 light levels above the recommended light level, it's a huge advantage. So if you're serious about becoming raid ready, then this guide will hopefully help you out as much as possible. Now personally, I recommend watching multiple guides, as each YouTuber will have their own kind of unique recommendations, while the rest or majority of it will probably just be repeats. There is a lot to do here, and it's hard to recommend when to start because most of this will just be variants of getting a level ready to roll over the instant the next season goes live. Basically, that means playing an activity or vendor or faction right up until the point of getting a reward, but ultimately stopping right before that happens. Then the instant Season 6 goes live, jumping into each activity to then finally roll it over and claim a powerful reward. Now this season things will be a little different. Bungie has made sure that any bounties completed in Season 6 or acquired in Season 6 will drop at a max of 700 light when you turn it in next season. So you have to get close to completing it, or at the very least set yourself up for an easy completion while not fully completing it. Now I've come up with quite a huge list. You know, at first I really didn't think that much could be done within 6 hours, which is the amount of time you have from the start of Season 6 to the start of the raid. But as you'll soon see, there is a ton you can do. So let's get started, guys. And first things first, this is just a list of things to do, but they should be completed in a specific order, which I'll talk about later on. So first up, guys, let's talk about your level of commitment. If you want to boost as high as possible, then you will need to use all 3 of your characters. Now I personally don't plan on going to that length, but you can bet a lot of others will. You're going to want to start off and use your least favorite character first, then switch over all the weapons you just earned to your second favorite, and then after completing everything on that character, switch over all those higher weapons to your third character, which is the one you're going to want to raid with. So let's get to this list, guys. First up, let's start with Hawthorne. What you want to do is finish 3 weekly clan bounties. Now remember, 3 on each character if you're going to go all in. Then keep those in your inventory. The instant Season 6 goes live, turn in those for your weekly powerful engrams. Now remember, the bounties you're keeping are simply being used for XP. They're not actually the reward itself. The reward comes from turning in XP in form of those bounties. So even though those bounties are old, they're still going to count towards your XP in the next season. Now while you're over here, go ahead and pick up your Allegiance rewards. Now if you haven't completed your Allegiance quest to the Vanguard or to the Drifter, then you need to do so on every single character as soon as possible, since they do take a little bit of time. Each week you will be given a free powerful reward, and so far every single one I've picked up included an exotic, which is basically another free powerful reward. So make sure each character has those Allegiance quests finished. It's an easy way to boost your power level. Do this over 3 characters, and that by itself is going to be a huge boost. Next up, Black Armory. Now unfortunately you cannot keep a Black Armory bounty, as it will leave with each reset, and since Bungie has said completed bounties turned in during Season 6 will only drop a max of 700 light, even if they could be kept, you wouldn't want it. So the best thing you can do here is to stack up with 2 ballistic logs, 2 on each character, then complete them once Season 6 goes live. We'll talk about that a little later. Next up, Xur Bounty. Now if you can, hold on to a Xur Bounty, 1 on each character, and then work on it right up until you are just 1 thing shy of finishing it. When Season 7 comes around, go ahead and finish it, and this will give you a powerful reward once you open the chest. Now I think this will bypass the whole 700 max light rule, because remember, the bounty itself doesn't give you the reward. The chest inside of that quest does. So I think we're going to be safe with this. Not 100% sure, but it's definitely worth trying. Next up, let's talk about the Dreaming City. Now, on top of doing all of your weekly rewards, across the entire game, which we'll get to here in a bit, you can pre-boost 2 things within the Dreaming City. First, the Oracle Bounty. Complete 1 unstable charge in the well on each character. Now, I personally recommend to try and do a tier 4 or an unstable charge the very first day Season 7's live, because remember, you get a powerful reward just by doing a tier 4 or that unstable charge. So you can complete 2 with 1 stone, and that's the way to do it. Now, while we're talking about bounties, you will also want to finish 8 Dreaming City bounties and keep them in your inventory. This way, you can turn them in as soon as the new season rolls over and then claim the powerful reward from Petra. Once again, these 8 bounties, they don't mean anything. You just need to complete 8 bounties to get the other powerful bounty completed. So once you grab that, in Season 7, you already have 8 bounties to finish and you're good to go. Now, on top of bounties, you also want to try to collect 20 bounties in total. Now, that's going to be kind of hard to do because a lot of them expire in just a short amount of time, but if you can, and you can collect as many bounties as possible, this way you can grab your reward from Ikora fairly quickly. And moving along here, while we're talking about bounties, Spider's Bounty. Since bounties acquired from Season 7, once again drop at 700, you're going to have to wait and only grab 1 from Spider, but make sure you don't forget about it, because you might be able to get a brand new, Lord of Wolves, which is going to be pretty good for the next season. Moving on here, if things stay with its current rotation, the Shattered Throne will be open the day Season 6 starts, and this means you can complete the Shattered Throne for 3 powerful drops in 30 minutes, which really is not that bad. And finally, guys, moving on to the end of the list here, Crucible and Gambit. More specifically, we'll talk about Gambit first. Now, once you've completed everything on this list across all 3 of your characters, there probably won't be a lot of time left to do much of anything else. However, if you're a speed demon, you're going to want to throw on a ghost that gives you 10% extra XP in Gambit, grab a ton of Gambit bounties, and then try to rank up. Every full rank up will drop you a powerful reward, while the in-betweens, the 1, 2, and 3 levels drop lower stuff. However, if you've had crappy luck with armor, sometimes these lower level drops can come in handy and benefit you if you hadn't had, say, like a pair of boots drop for you this entire time. Then these in-between drops might actually boost your light on your lowest level items. So sometimes they can be a blessing in disguise. Once you rank up in Gambit, you can then try to keep going to the next full rank up, which probably takes too much time, but I would simply switch over to Crucible and try to hit its first rank. By the time you've done all of this, especially across 2 or even 3 characters, you will have blasted through 6 hours in no time, and the raid will be live anytime now. My personal recommendation, guys, is to always use a ghost that gives you extra XP. There are a few exotics with the perk called Guiding Light, and they give you 10% extra XP to any activity you're in. And on top of that, use a Fire Team Medallion for the chance to get extra loot drops. Now, I don't know if this helps with exotics, but it couldn't hurt. And last but not least, guys, just a couple of quick tips here. Level up all of your important guns to 700. Try to think ahead of the curve here. What could be useful during a super hard encounter? Things like Sleeper, Acreus, Ikelos or Threat Level, Thousand Voices, Whisper of the Worm, Thunderlord, Hammerhead, Lord of Wolves, Tractor Cannon, etc. You never know what you're going to need in a raid, especially a brand new one, and coming from experience, having a weapon that you can easily transfer over already at a usable level, it makes things much easier. You don't want to be that guy who has to go to Spider to buy materials only to realize he's not selling the ones you need, and now you have to go and farm for them just so you can upgrade your Acreus in the middle of a raid race. Don't be that guy. Just remember, guys, depending on your level of commitment, start with your least favorite character first, then your second rating character, and finally use your main rating character last. Each time you switch weapons over to the next character, they will start off much higher than the one before it. Do not infuse any weapons until you've run out of things to do on all 3 characters. Also, if you can, start stockpiling planetary materials. With each new content update comes new weapons and of course new armor, which means lots and lots of infusing. Have enough backup materials so that when you get a raid drop, you can instantly infuse it into a better piece like an exotic. Now, as for what to do first, let's go ahead and go over the list of things you should do in order. First, start with Hawthorne and the weekly clan bounty. Then you grab your Allegiance bounty. Then go grab your first Armory frame and work on it as you head to the Dreaming City and complete everything there. Once that's done, head to your Flashpoint, do your Heroic Adventure, followed by your Spider bounty. Then do your daily strike, crucible, and gambit activities for your powerful drop. Your Zerg bounty you should be able to complete by this time as well, so do that as soon as it's completed. This entire time you should also be working on your black armory weapon using whatever weapon you picked up, and it should be completed as well. Go ahead and finish it and then pick up another. After that, you should complete the remainder of your 2 strikes and then head into the Shattered Throne. Finishing Gambit and Crucible will just take too much time for one reward. After you complete the throne, check your time. You want to try and keep one character at around 2, maybe 3 hours, depending on your situation. Even if you still have stuff to do, switch to your next character when time's up. Transfer the 3 highest weapons you have to your second character, and then simply repeat the process. After another 2 hours, do this one more time, and then complete as many things as possible right up until the raid is open for business. Now, it's a lot to squeeze in, guys. I'm not saying it's not, which is why you're setting yourself up and why it's so important. Again, this all depends on how committed you are, for trying for World's First. 90% of players don't really care about this kind of thing. However, you can use just a couple of these tips to make your first week just a little bit easier. I plan on just doing 2 characters. That is, if I can find a good enough team to run the raid with. But yeah, that's about it, Guardians. Since Bungie made these changes, it's limited a few options, and it also made it so it'll take more time to boost your power level. However, that doesn't mean it will not be done to the fullest, and you can bet most of the big time raid runners out there will be doing this exact same thing in the coming weeks. So I hope this helps you guys, and also keep an eye out for my raid guides, in which I will try to get them out as soon as possible once Crown of Sorrow arrives. But for now, that's about it. As always, thank you for watching and for supporting Sly Nation. Feel free to check me out on Twitter at Sly Nation or Sly Nation Gaming on the FB. Take care, Guardians, and subscribe for many more videos coming out soon. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll catch you all next time.